Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. So today let's talk about some men being worried about child-free women. Are they supposed to be worried about a decision being made by adults? Are those women not capable of making their own decision? Why are they focused on the child-free women alone? Because that is what is common out there. Most at times they forget, or all of the times, not even most, all of the time they forget that they have men that have chosen to be child free. But mostly we see them focusing on the women that are child free. Is there something they're not telling us? Are men thinking they might end up being lonely? Are they scared of being lonely? Are they scared of the fact that they might not have children to carry on their legacy? What are their fears? Let's watch this particular video of this man that went on TikTok to advise women. He sounded as though he just could not understand why a woman that has the ability to give birth would decide not to give birth and make excuses such as, I want to focus on my career, I want to focus on myself, I want to travel and do things. To him, those excuses don't make sense. So he went on TikTok to leave a video, and I tell you, he got roasted. So I'll play a lot of stitches replying to what he said. The video is quite lengthy. I believe you're going to enjoy the video. And at the end of it, I'll come back for us to have a very lengthy and interesting conversation about that.
I think that is just an insult to every single woman in your family. Why don't you want a kid to give motherly love to? That don't make sense. You want to be, I want to focus on my career and travel. Yeah, when you hit 40, you're going to want kids. Stop saying y'all don't want kids. That's a damn lie.
My mother has 2 children, and among her sisters, I have over 50 first cousins. And among my aunts, there was exactly one of them who was happily married, stay-at-home, non-working mother to 1 child. For that generation, she broke a generational curse. She wasn't suffering in her marriage. She wasn't suffering physically behind more kids than she could physically take care of, nor was she struggling financially. It was seeing how my mother, the rest of my aunts, and my grandmother and great aunt had struggled with kids that put this idea into so many of our heads to either not have children or seriously delay them. They pushed us to study, to go to college, to start businesses, to travel. They're the ones who taught us that being respected by a man was more important than being desired. And they are the ones who learned for us through experience that a woman should not have kids unless she wants to, and only the number of kids that she can handle, because nothing is stopping a man from walking out if he wants to. Because for some reason, so many of you want to have kids, but you don't want to be fathers and give them fatherly love. What's up with that? It's unnatural. But absolutely no woman in my family is ashamed, embarrassed, or feels disrespected because so many of us waited so long to have kids or decided we didn't want to have kids at all. But I'm going to tell you, as a mother of a boy, what would make me feel ashamed and disrespected. If my son grew to be the type of man who puts his hands on someone's daughter, I would feel ashamed. If my son said that he wanted a family but then disrespected or abandoned my family, I would feel ashamed. If after all of the hard work and nurturing and sacrifice I poured into raising my son, and all of the risk that a wife or a girlfriend took to bear him children, he went on to say that he didn't have any respect for women until he had a daughter, I would feel ashamed and disrespected. If after seeing how creative and thoughtful and brilliant and hardworking the women in this family are, my son went on to say that women are too emotional, that they don't think clearly, that they can't be trusted to be heads of household and make important decisions, I would feel disrespected. But your video actually isn't about women. It's a projection of your own fear that more and more women are opting out of motherhood, and now you cannot use their wombs to procure yourself a legacy. It's about your own startling realization that there are fewer women living in fear of childlessness, and you cannot use this fear to emotionally blackmail them into giving you children. So now you're trying to pretend as if you actually care about the feelings of the women in their family. And that sounds like a you problem.
Here's my take on the whole women don't want kids thing. I think that.
And I think you should stay out of women's business. Also, got some things you might need. And also, blow your nose.
The risks were outweighed by the potential benefit.
Oh, I want to focus on my career and travel. Yeah, when you hit 40, you're going to want kids.
It's never been more clear that it's us as men who are projecting our fears of being alone in our 40s onto women. We've been socialized so much as boys and men to believe that our entire youth is supposed to be spent on going through women as much as possible, and that somehow, somewhere, we're going to be ready to be fathers and husbands by 35, 40 years old. We've been socialized so much to the point where we think it's biological. We think that's how we're biologically made to be. So when we reach 35, 40 years old and realize we're sad and alone for not being husbands and not being fathers, we think women must be going through the same exact thing. We find it so mind-boggling that a woman is in her 30s and 40s and thriving, and we're not thriving single in our 30s and 40s. And then we start being predators and start seeking impressionable young people to be our partners, because now we're looking for people to raise our kids for us. So men will try to tell you that them trying to date a 21-year-old at like 40-something years old is biological, because what they're looking for is a body to raise a child for them.
8 out of 10 women who are childless didn't intend to be childless. It's called involuntary childlessness. Around about 10% of women are physically incapable of having kids for a variety of reasons. 10% said that they actually didn't intend to have children, and that leaves a whopping 4 out of 5 who didn't have children due to life circumstances. That's the most common reason for it, and the most common life circumstance is leaving it too late to find a partner and then have kids. You break through that fertility window on the other side. These women who get into their 40s, who always intended to have a family, who realize that they now can't, they go to support groups, and these women are grieving for families that they never had, which is just brutal. Like, to think that you can grieve for something that didn't occur.
One thing men hate more than women with children: single child-free women who don't center their lives around them. I mean, what else do I need to say? Just comment said everything. What else do I need to say? And until they understand why this whole male loneliness epidemic is only going to get worse. It's going to get worse, because if they can't see why more and more women don't want children, don't want marriage, don't want to live with a man, would rather be single, etc., etc., if they don't open their damn eyes, I actually kind of feel sorry for them. I mean, not enough to do something about it, and not enough to do the work for them, but just enough to make me feel like, hey, maybe you should do something about it before it's too late. I said this before, but a lot of these people still think it's 1950. And they're wondering why they don't have their 1950s housewife who cooks and cleans and stays barefoot and pregnant. When that was like over 70 years ago.
At 40, you're going to want kids. Stop saying y'all don't want kids. That's a damn lie.
There are adults walking around with unresolved childhood trauma and terrible relationships with their parents, specifically mothers, since we're talking about women being mothers, because that said mother did not want to participate in motherhood. We have been conditioned since we were damn near embryos that our life goal is to be a wife and a mother. If we have any other alternative aspirations, that we're wrong. And society believes that our aspirations and life goals are wrong, we are pressured into having a traditional lifestyle. But then years down the road, we regret our fucking lifestyle because it's not what we wanted. And guess what? That mother that didn't want to be a mother is going to take it out on that child. It's perfectly okay if a woman doesn't want to be a mother or a wife. Not everyone is meant to be a parent, and not everyone believes in monogamy. I don't know why this concept is so hard for y'all to understand.
40, you're gonna want kids. Stop saying y'all don't want kids. That's a damn lie.
Be fucking for real, sir. Be fucking for real. Why would we want to have children? For you? Because let's be honest, the only reason men get their panties in a bunch when women say they don't want marriage or children is because that's what y'all want. Yet every day on this little app, y'all tell us y'all don't find women interesting, you don't like us, and you don't respect us. So why would we want to have children with y'all? What sense does that make? Y'all don't even value our opinions or believe us when we say we don't want that for ourselves. So it's the delusion for me. It's the outrage for me. It's hilarious. Be fucking for real, sir. It's not happening.
At 40, you're gonna want kids. Stop saying y'all don't want kids. That's a damn lie.
Hi, 40-year-old here. I thought I'd stop by and let you know what my take on not wanting children was, since you're doing such a poor job for us. Here's the thing. I was raised by someone who was not emotionally capable. It's called parentification. I had to raise her while I was a child and still trying to figure out what the hell life even was, right? So I've done my time. I'm good. I don't have to raise anyone else's children, and I don't intend to. And maybe before you start telling women what they should do with their bodies or what they should want to do, you should do a little reflection on yourself. Because if you knew who the hell you were, you wouldn't feel the need to tell women who they should be. Okay? Great. Good talk. Bye.
I think that is just an insult to every single woman.
I genuinely want to have a mature conversation surrounding this topic, right? So if there's a woman who has a child out of wedlock, in wedlock, but ends up divorced, there's something said about that. There's something said about if a woman has her kids too young. There's something said about if a woman has her kids too old. But then if a woman consciously says, well, I don't want to be out here having a whole bunch of babies. I'm not going to have no babies right now, or I don't want babies at all. That's still an issue. I think the real question that we should ask these men who project their fear of being alone onto women is, what is it that's so bad about yourself that you don't want to be by yourself for an extended period of time? Why do you not enjoy your own company? Because people who are at peace with themselves don't give a damn what other people do with their life. You can experience love outside of a relationship. You came in this world alone. You're going to die alone anyway.
As a child-free woman, has anyone else noticed the huge difference in which we get treated compared to child-free men? Like, it is actually mental, because the way child-free women get treated and what the names that they get called, like, literally you can just go through my most watched, viewed child-free videos to see like how much hate child-free women get. I don't know why. Like, why are people so obsessed with child-free women having choice over their own bodies and lifestyles? It's very strange. But compare that to child-free men. They might get a little bit now and again, but pretty much they're seen as bachelors, gods. Like, it's celebrated, you know? It's massively different. And people tell me that sexism and misogyny doesn't exist in today's society. Sure.
Why don't you want a kid to give motherly love to? That don't make sense.
Cause child free is the best free. Child free is the best free. Child free is the best free. It's kitty cats and puppies for me. Be happy. If you want to have kids so goddamn bad, implant a uterus and have them yourself. Shoot, Lord trying to bring this into the universe now.
Yeah, when you hit 40, you're gonna want kids.
First of all, how you gonna sit here and tell me what I do or do not want? How you gonna tell women as a whole demographic what we do and do not want? You don't know us. And honestly, there are a myriad of reasons as to why people might not want to have children. Why women specifically, since that's who we're talking about right now, don't want to have children. I'm gonna go ahead and list off a couple of reasons as to why I personally don't want to have children. I struggle every fucking day to take care of my damn self. I don't want to spend money on anyone who's not me. I have no desire to deal with tantrums in the fucking grocery store. Speaking of the grocery store, I don't want to have to think about picking up somebody, packing up all their shit in addition to all of my shit, only to go to the grocery store and have it take 2 times as long because I am focused on not losing my fucking kid. No. I don't want to go to Little League practice. I don't want to wake up early on the weekends. I want to be able to fucking sleep at night. I want to be able to go on a vacation or go on a date and not have to think about finding a fucking babysitter. And those are all reasons that have nothing to do with fucking pregnancy. I don't think I have the desire to be pregnant. I don't want my nose to swell. I don't want my feet to swell. I don't want my teeth to fall out. I don't want to find out later after I had a baby that you have to put on a freaking ice diaper, or the fact that when you're breastfeeding that you can literally get a milk duct in your armpit. No, none of that sounds fun to me. And we haven't even talked about the fact that you're pushing a whole 8-pound person out of your fucking... No. Now, women in general don't owe you any reason as to why they do or do not want to have children. But the fact of the matter is having kids is work. And if you're not 100% sure that you want to put in the work to have a child, then you have no business having a child. They're a whole ass human being that has to go throughout this life on their own with adequate preparation. And they don't deserve to be traumatized because I didn't actually want them to be here. They asked to be here, and that's not fair to them. So no. And I genuinely believe that the only people who are concerned about dying alone and having someone to wipe their ass when they're in their nursing home, it's men. It is 100% men. And let's not even get me started on the fact that having children for the sake of ensuring that you have somebody to take care of you when you die, or when you get old enough and can't again wipe your ass, that's selfish. That is incredibly fucking selfish. On top of the fact that there is no fucking guarantee, it doesn't matter how good of a parent you are, there is no guarantee that your kid is going to even want to wipe your ass when you get old. Personally, the reason I don't want kids is because I want to live my life for me on my own terms without having to consider anybody else. And if that makes me selfish, then hell fucking yeah, I'm selfish. But I am not going to bring a child into this world that I didn't actually want to be here. And if that makes you upset, well, tough titties.
If I was a woman, I wouldn't want to have a child either. Why would I want to have a child? I don't need to have a child. I don't need to have a man. I don't need to pretend that I'm in love. I don't need to pretend that I want to be a mother. I don't need to stay at home and play giggle with a little child who's just another slave in the system. I don't have to do any of this shit. Why should I do that? Why should I waste my resources doing this when there's other games that are much more fun that are available for me to play? Why? And don't tell me I will find fulfillment, because my mother didn't find fulfillment. My grandmother didn't find fulfillment. And that's why I'm the byproduct of their lack of fulfillment. So I'm talking as a woman, right? I'm the byproduct of my mom, my grandmother, and all these lineages of women that came before me. And I'm the byproduct of their discontent. And then you tell me I should do the same thing as they did. Well, quite clearly it didn't work out. So why I should do this? What's the point? How's that going to fulfill me? And the only reason I did that before, or a couple of generations ago, is because the zoo required me, through its ordained religious priests and its science of the time, which was religion, that imposes us to do that and gave us, this is what you are as a woman, you're supposed to give birth. And you as a man are supposed to go work in the field like a donkey. This was ordered by the zookeepers in order for us to create more slaves so that we can build the zoo and make the zoo structure increase and grow and grow and grow. So I didn't really want to have a child. I was obliged to have a child. It was what I did because there's nothing else to do. And that was what was told to me to do. Even though it may match my biology, I didn't necessarily want to have a child. What for? What's in it for me?
Okay, so guys, I'm pretty sure you heard all the speakers and all they had to say. A lot has been said. So I also have a lot to talk about. I have some points they've made to revisit. So let's start with the point that the initiator of this conversation, I mean the man that went on TikTok to make that very video, let's talk about the fact that he said it is an insult to the women in your family if you choose not to have children as a woman or have a kid as a woman. How is that an insult? A lot of people out there believe that as a woman, the fact that you have the ability to give birth, you must use it. The fact that you can reproduce, you must reproduce. That's the mindset. But is that the case in every aspect of life? No. Some people have the ability to make money, but they refuse to make money. Some people have the ability to stay alive, but they refuse to stay alive. So not because you have the ability or the capability to do something, then you must do it. That's the mindset when it comes to women and childbearing. Because you're a woman, you must have kids. You must get married. That is the mindset out there. The other point he mentioned, he said, why don't you want to give motherly love to kids? So you should have kids because you want to give motherly love to kids. I'm asking, what about the fathers? Do they give fatherly love to their kids? Obviously no. A lot of men out there don't care about their kids. They don't give fatherly love to their kids. We have a lot of absent fathers out there. So why don't you focus on those men and coach them on how to be the right father, how to give fatherly love to kids, rather than encouraging women to bring kids into this world that will not have fatherly love. How about that? One of the speaker made mention of something that her mom told her. She said that you should be with a man that respects you and not a man that desires you. That makes a whole lot of sense. A man might desire you in so many ways, but he might not respect you. A man that respects you can also desire you. The main focus is respect. You don't want to be with someone that disrespects you. You get? I believe some women, if they get to be with the right man, they might reconsider their decision. Some child-free women have decided not to have kids because they don't have the right men. Not all of them, but some of them. They don't want to be the ones to carry the burden of child rearing, child upbringing all by themselves, because it's a lot of work. It's not easy. You go through pregnancy alone, then you have to train up a child alone. So a lot of women have seen that and they've said to themselves, I'm not ready to subject myself through such torture. That's it. So men should focus on being better fathers and better husbands rather than focusing on women that have made decision not to have kids, because those women are clearly not their problem. I'm pretty sure you saw the article I inserted at some point. They said the risk outweighs the potential benefits. That's the truth. Do you know how risky it is for a woman to be pregnant? Pregnancy is something that you cannot predict. When I mean you cannot predict the outcome of it. Obviously, you're expected to have a baby, to deliver your baby, but you don't know what the pregnancy might bring. Complications, you might even lose your life in the process. Some people go deaf. Some people end up having Bell's palsy, paralyzed side of the face, a lot of medical complications. So those are unforeseen circumstances, things you don't even know. You can't even predict it. Even the doctor cannot even predict it. Things can go wrong. The risk is really high. Then the process of bringing out the baby is also another risk. Then having to fend for the baby, it's a whole lot. It comes with a lot of drama, a lot of responsibility, a lot of stress, and then your life will definitely be put on hold. Your dreams and aspirations you would forget, because you have to nurture your baby and train your baby. So I'm giving reasons why they said the risk outweighs the potential benefits. A speaker mentioned that some men, when they are in their 40s and 30s, 35 to 40 and above, and they have no kids and family, they begin to feel sad and feel pressured, and then they realize that they need a family. For them to deal with their insecurities and issues, they will heap it on the women and blame it on women that, oh, because women decide to be child free, that's why they didn't have the opportunity to be with anybody. Go heal. Focus on yourself. You can be happy without someone. You must not be in a relationship to be happy. Learn to be happy by yourself. Everyone should learn to be happy by themselves. You don't necessarily need to be in a relationship for you to be happy. A different speaker mentioned that men are worried that women are no longer centering their lives around them. Yes, it's been a thing in the past that most women in the past, all they did was breed men, talk about men, leave men. All they do was all about men. My husband, my boyfriend, my husband, my boyfriend. That's what their whole life was all about. And men loved it. Men loved it because those women made men demigod, made men feel so superior in their life, made men think that them as women cannot do without them, they cannot function without them, they cannot live without them. They are the air they breathe, and men loved it so well. In recent times, things have changed. Men are not getting such treatment anymore. Women are beginning to realize that there is more to life than having just a man at the center of your life. They're beginning to equip themselves. They're beginning to develop themselves, do things for themselves, focus on themselves. Some women are choosing not to be in relationships, and this is affecting men a whole lot. It's a big deal to a lot of men. And for some men, when they end up being in a relationship, they don't get that attention as much as they used to before. They don't get women cleaning, cooking, pampering them, serving them as kings, making them act like they're kings and all that. They don't get that anymore, and it's not an issue. Some men are wishing they can take things back to how it used to be in the olden days, where women did everything for them. All they did was pursue their dreams and aspirations and bring money home. That's all they did. A lot of men are also concerned with the fact that they might end up not carrying on their legacy, since women are becoming so wise and don't want to give birth and carry on their legacy for them. Some men are also worried about that. That's why you see them come online hating on women, being jealous, because if you compare men that are in their 40s to women that are in their 40s, women are way happier than men. Single women are way happier than single men that are in their 40s, and mostly women achieve more than men. Women in their 40s achieve more than men. So looking at that, some men are also angry and jealous. So all they can think of is the child-free people, the child-free movement is the cause of the problem. I don't think that is the cause of the problem. There's a whole lot of things to factor in. One, men were never respectful to women. Not all men, a lot of men were never respectful to women. So they should fix the aspect of respect. They should value women, and they should be good men to their family, their kids, their children, and also to their wife. When they start by working on themselves, being a better person, focusing inwardly, having an introspect of how they've been to the people around them and the people in their society, looking back at how they treated the women they had in their lives, looking back at how their old relationships went and all that, looking back at how ancestral relationships were and ancestral marriages were, looking back at history. If they can do proper research, look back at how things have been in time past and why people are changing, why women are changing, and trying to understand the reason why women are trying to do differently, and then they look at all them stuff and adjust their character and be better men for themselves, not just for themselves alone, but also for the society. I think when all that is done, and even more, women will begin to reconsider their decision. But right now, everyone is for themselves. Everyone is doing what makes them happy, because it is a very stupid decision for a woman to want to get into a relationship with a man and knowing fully well that this man is definitely going to be an absent dad, and you still decide to get into that relationship. That means you're shooting yourself on the leg, because you know you're going to carry all the burden and it's going to be a very stressful one for you. So like I said, a lot of women are opting out and they're not ready for such life torture. So guys, this is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye.